10 U.S. states collapsing due to poverty and homelessness, worse than you think. The United States has long been recognized as a global superpower, known for its strong economy, political influence, and leadership in business innovation. However, behind this glamorous facade, the country is grappling with pressing social issues, with homelessness being one of the most severe. Across the nation, sidewalks, street corners, and even once bustling city centers have become shelters for those who have lost their homes. The sight of makeshift tents and abandoned streets now resembles ghost towns. This crisis is not confined to New York alone, it is spreading throughout the country. Here are 10 major states that are gradually sinking into this crisis. Stay until the end, as the truth may shock you, perhaps even shatter the American dream. 1. New York. There is no doubt that New York is one of the most expensive places to live in the U.S. The cost of living here is nearly 40% higher than the national average. The median home price is around $480,000, approximately 12.65 billion VND, while monthly rent averages $4,000, about 102 million VND. These staggering figures leave many in disbelief. On top of that, New York has one of the highest income tax rates in the country, up to 10%. For many families, this is the breaking point, forcing them to relocate to states with lower living costs and tax burdens. As a result, nearly 180,000 people left New York in 2023 alone, seeking a more affordable lifestyle elsewhere. Meanwhile, those who remain and cannot afford housing are left stranded. New York currently has over 91,000 homeless individuals, the highest number in the state's history. Every night, these people search for a place to sleep, a sidewalk, a subway station, or a temporary tent in a park. But the crisis in New York is more than just numbers. When night falls, the city is no longer illuminated by its famous dazzling lights. Instead, an eerie silence takes over. Streets are empty, stores are shuttered, and once bustling neighborhoods have turned desolate. Some tourists have even remarked that they came to experience the city that never sleeps, yet it seems to shut down by 9:30 p.m. New York is facing not only a homelessness crisis but also an economic decline. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening, and while luxury neighborhoods remain as opulent as ever, just a few blocks away, an entirely different reality unfolds. 2. California. Once known as the Promised Land, California is now witnessing an unprecedented exodus. In 2023 alone, more than 250,000 people left the state. But in such a beautiful and prosperous place, why is it struggling to retain its own residents? Although California is stunning, its beauty cannot help ordinary workers cope with the ever-increasing cost of living. The median home price has reached $750,000, about 19.14 billion VND, double the national average. Renting is no easier, just a one-bedroom apartment in San Francisco or Los Angeles is enough to make many people struggle. On top of that, the personal income tax rate of 13.3%, one of the highest in the US, makes life even more difficult. It's not just ordinary citizens who are leaving, even major corporations are moving out. Tech giants that once saw California as their innovation hub are now relocating to other states like Texas or Nevada, where costs are more reasonable. But the issue isn't just about those who leave, it's also about those who stay. California is currently facing a severe homelessness crisis. According to statistics, more than 171,000 people are without shelter, the highest number in the US. Walking through the streets of Los Angeles or San Francisco, it's not hard to come across makeshift tent communities and people silently struggling through harsh realities. The American dream here remains unfinished, filled with sorrow. The exodus from California is not just a number, it's a sign of the growing gap between dreams and reality. This wealthy state needs more than just the glory of its past. Above all, it needs real solutions to help its residents continue calling this place home. 3. Hawaii. Under the clear blue skies of the Pacific Ocean, the Hawaiian Islands appear like a paradise, with soft white beaches and dazzling rainbows. For tourists, this is a dream destination. But for many local residents, the rising cost of living has turned it into a harsh challenge. It's hard to believe that such a breathtaking place ranks among the fastest shrinking populations in the US and even faces the risk of losing its cultural identity. The main reason lies in its expensive living costs. A one-bedroom apartment in Honolulu has an average rent of around $2,500, about 63.8 million VND, per month, while a two-bedroom unit can reach $3,500, 89.3 million VND, or more, depending on location and quality. However, the issue does not stop there. The prices of food and fuel here are among the highest in the United States, as most goods have to be imported. A simple life in Hawaii turns out to require a budget that is far from simple. Not only is the cost of living sky-high, but Hawaii is also facing an alarming reality: the highest homelessness rate in the country. Thousands of people who cannot afford rent are forced to live in tents or temporary shelters. The scarcity of affordable housing, combined with increasing economic pressure, has worsened the situation. Despite the local government's efforts, support policies have not been strong enough to address the root of the problem. Assistance programs for the poor and homeless still lack the necessary resources, turning life in this tropical paradise into a true survival battle. Las Vegas, Nevada, beneath the dazzling lights of the city, where luxurious casinos and lavish hotels create a world of wealth and glamour, there exists a reality that few talk about. Amidst the bustling streets and grand buildings, many people struggle with poverty, fighting daily just to survive. According to statistics, 14.6% of Las Vegas residents live below the poverty line, meaning that nearly 15 out of every 100 people struggle daily just to afford food, clothing, and shelter. These are not just dry statistics, they represent the harsh reality faced by thousands of families who are trying to make ends meet in one of the world's most extravagant cities. Beyond poverty, homelessness in Las Vegas is also becoming increasingly severe. In 2022, the city recorded over 18,500 homeless individuals, a 12% increase from the previous year. Imagine a city famous for its wealth, yet thousands of people sleep on sidewalks, huddled against the cold night air, while just a short distance away, casinos remain brightly lit all night, hosting endless lavish parties. What has led Las Vegas to this situation? One major factor is its rapid development, which has driven a population boom. More and more people move here in hopes of striking it rich, but the supply of affordable housing fails to meet demand. Rising real estate prices and high living costs make it nearly impossible for low-income workers to find suitable housing, pushing them into homelessness. West Virginia, under its vast blue sky, often referred to as a land as beautiful as paradise, is, for many of its longtime residents, a place they are now forced to leave behind. Once a thriving center of coal mining in the United States, West Virginia now faces severe economic and demographic challenges. Over the past decade, the coal industry has declined by more than 40% in job availability, leading to the collapse of many communities that once depended on this source of income. As livelihoods disappear, many families have no choice but to leave in search of opportunities elsewhere. Although real estate prices in West Virginia are much lower than in major cities like New York or Los Angeles, homeownership remains out of reach for those with low or moderate incomes. Housing assistance programs are limited, and long-term solutions have not been effective, leaving many people without a home. Many resort to sleeping in their cars, in makeshift tents along roadsides, or even curled up on sidewalks during freezing nights. While West Virginia does not rank among the states with the highest homelessness rates, the issue remains a pressing concern. According to a recent report by the West Virginia Coalition to End Homelessness, around 1,300 people across the state lack stable housing and struggle daily for food and shelter in an uncertain and harsh reality. Additionally, West Virginia faces another alarming challenge: rapid population aging. It has the highest median age of any state in the U.S., with a large portion of its population entering old age. Meanwhile, the younger generation, once the hope of this land, is leaving their hometowns in search of better opportunities in other states, where they believe a brighter future awaits. Pennsylvania, once known as the key to America's history, is now witnessing a growing wave of residents leaving. According to reports, this state ranks 7th among the top 10 states with the fastest declining populations in the U.S. In just 1 year, approximately 40,000 people have left in search of a better life in other states. Previously, Pennsylvania was the cradle of the manufacturing industry, providing jobs for millions. However, today, many factories have shut down, jobs are disappearing, and life has become increasingly difficult for residents. The average household income here is only about $67,500 per year, an amount insufficient to maintain a stable life as living costs continue to rise. Beyond population loss, Pennsylvania is also facing a growing homelessness crisis. More and more people are finding themselves without homes, forced to live in temporary shelters on freezing streets. This highlights the urgent need for economic revitalization, infrastructure improvements, and support for struggling residents. Without timely action, Pennsylvania's future may become even bleaker. Even more concerning is that prolonged poverty and fewer job opportunities often lead to rising crime rates. When life becomes too unstable, many have no choice but to turn to the wrong path. This is not just Pennsylvania's problem, it is a warning signal for many other regions across the U.S. When mentioning Louisiana, people often think of soulful jazz music, flavorful gumbo, and the vibrant Mardi Gras celebrations. However, behind this lively image lies a troubling reality. Louisiana is among the states with the fastest declining populations in the U.S. So, what is driving people away from this region? Few may realize that Louisiana has one of the highest poverty rates in the country, at 18.5%. The average household income is only about $53,500, significantly lower than the national average. With the cost of living constantly increasing, this income is hardly enough to ensure a stable life, especially for families with elderly members and young children. Beyond economic struggles, Louisiana faces other challenges, including homelessness. In cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, many people live without stable housing. The poorest residents, particularly those who have lost their jobs or suffer from illnesses, have little chance of finding long-term shelter. Hurricane Katrina in 2005 left devastating consequences, destroying or severely damaging thousands of homes. Nearly 2 decades later, rebuilding efforts remain incomplete. Many families have yet to return home or find a place to settle. Louisiana is enduring storms both literally and figuratively, ranking among the states with the fastest declining populations. The question remains, how will the people and government of Louisiana overcome these challenges? Can they come together to find long-term solutions? Only time will tell. In the heart of Baltimore, Maryland, countless individuals silently struggle with poverty and homelessness. Every day, thousands of people here face extreme hardship. Over a quarter of the city's population, about 26%, live below the poverty line. Many lack food, proper housing, or even decent clothing. A warm meal or a comfortable place to sleep is no longer a given but a distant dream. In January 2022, more than 9,000 people in Baltimore fell into homelessness. Some still have old cars to sleep in at night, but many have nowhere to go. They barely survive on the cold sidewalks, battling hunger, freezing temperatures, and constant danger. This issue is no longer just Baltimore's burden, it has become a pressing concern for the entire United States. How much longer will these struggling individuals have to wait for help? And when will the government take strong enough action to provide them with a better life? Alaska, the most remote and wild land in the United States, where nature remains pristine and majestic. Snow-covered mountain ranges, colossal glaciers, and dense forests create a mesmerizing natural landscape. This is a paradise for those who crave exploration and conquest, yet at the same time, it is a land full of challenges, where only the truly strong can survive. Life in Alaska is not for the weak or the unprepared, as this land constantly tests people with its harshest weather conditions. However, behind its magnificent beauty lies a brutal reality that not everyone can face. In recent years, Alaska's population has been declining significantly. The living conditions are not only cold in terms of weather but also harsh in terms of the economy, with job opportunities dwindling. Many people face prolonged unemployment while the cost of living soars. For those with low incomes, making ends meet becomes an almost impossible equation. Many families cannot afford housing costs and are forced into homelessness, leading to severe consequences. But perhaps the harshest challenge for the homeless in Alaska is the freezing winter. When temperatures plummet to several degrees below zero, life on the streets becomes a true survival battle. Without a warm enough shelter, many people seek refuge in the wilderness or makeshift camps that offer little protection against the piercing cold. The cold in Alaska is not just numbing, it is life-threatening. Just one night sleeping outdoors without proper insulation could mean never waking up again. In this unforgiving land, there is no room for carelessness or lack of preparation. To survive in Alaska, one must possess not only strong willpower but also the ability to adapt completely to nature. Alaska is both an alluring adventure dream and a ruthless challenge that not everyone can overcome. Illinois, under the vast sky of America, was once a state rich in tradition with a distinctive culture. However, sadly, the very people who helped shape its identity are now leaving their homeland. In 2023 alone, nearly 140,000 residents left Illinois, a number large enough to fill Soldier Field Stadium, making it one of the fastest declining states in the U.S. What is driving this mass exodus? One key factor is the sky-high taxes. The state income tax reaches 4.95%, coupled with one of the highest property taxes in the country, creating a significant burden for many families. As the cost of living continues to rise, many find their hard-earned money insufficient to cover the increasing tax burdens, forcing them to seek a more livable place. But taxes are not the only issue. Illinois is also struggling under a massive pension debt of $140 billion, an obligation akin to a giant credit card bill that the state will never be able to pay off. This financial strain weakens public services while residents face the threat of even higher taxes. Moreover, Illinois, particularly Chicago, is experiencing a severe homelessness crisis. According to statistics, over 65,000 people in the state lack stable housing. High home prices and expensive rent make it impossible for many low-income workers to afford a place to live. Some rely on temporary housing arrangements with others, while others resort to makeshift shelters, clinging to severely underfunded assistance programs. What is happening in Illinois reflects a broader reality across the U.S., a warning of the urgent need for financial reforms and policies that invest in the people. After all, no matter how rich a state's history or how appealing its local cuisine, none of it can sustain a population without financial stability. Can Illinois turn the tide? Only time will tell. But without timely changes, the land of Lincoln will surely lose the very people who have shaped its soul. Beneath the dazzling lights of America, there are still bitter and hidden corners. The 10 states we have just explored not only highlight the growing wealth gap but also serve as a warning bell for the silent instabilities taking place. However harsh reality may be, hope has never faded. A society can only truly progress when it cares for its most vulnerable members. And perhaps, instead of viewing America solely as a land of glamour, we must also recognize that every nation has its own flaws that need improvement. What are your thoughts on this situation? Are there any solutions to help these people find their way home again? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like if you found this video helpful, subscribe to stay updated on upcoming content, and turn on notifications to never miss a new video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.